So I got this 2006 Model 10J Briggs. It's like a pressure washer motor or something, but it's got these funky scratch marks, grooves, whatever have you. See the camera's going in and out of focus, but there's funny marks on the cylinder wall. And on the, in effect, bottom side, there's more of them. These ones, oh wait, where are they? Somewhere. Yeah, these ones here. They're deep enough you can actually feel them with your fingernail. So it's just strange. Yeah, right there, those ones, you can feel them. So I don't know. The motor was off like a pressure washer or something because it had the heavy flywheel. But other than that, everything else looks good. Like all the internal parts were in good shape. So I don't know if it was just bad machining at the factory. It's very, very strange. I've never seen that type of grooves in the cylinder. I initially thought the motor had gotten run low on oil, but the crankshaft and connecting rod didn't indicate that at all. So don't know what the story is with it. Just strange. So I had my son look at this block. He's a machinist. He said, yeah, it's got tool chatter marks in it from boring the cylinder. And he says the hone didn't clean it up. So that's what those geez, bright sun. It's hard to see what the camera's seeing there. The screen's so backlit by the sun. Anyway, yeah, so that's what his conclusion was also. So basically the block on this isn't much good to me. Maybe for a Frankenbridge project it doesn't have to develop much power, but there's no way your piston rings can seal very well against a cylinder bore like that. I got the crankshaft here just to show you. It's 100% mint conditioned. Like basically all the parts except the block are in A1 shape, and even it had clean oil in it. So I don't know how long this motor ran, but I wouldn't say it had too many hours on it. Probably just too bad performance due to the piston rings not being able to seal. So anyways, I got, you know, nothing's a total loss for me. I got everything but a good block, so I peeled the valves and everything out of it, and I'll reuse all the parts. But you have to wonder what type of testing these little lawnmower engines go through at the factory, because you think that would have shown up as low compression if they had have done any type of test on it. But anyway, let me know if you got any inside info on what type of tests would be done on these smaller motors at a Briggs factory. I have no way of knowing anything. The factory might as well be Fort Knox for all the info I can get regarding it. Anyway, thanks. So just by way of documenting the construction of the 2006 Briggs for kind of my ongoing series there. So this guy uses the new type drum starter with the fingers that fling out. This one suffered some damage, probably when it got dropped at the scrapyard. But so that's the type of recoil starter on it there. And it's got the circular hole for the intake manifold, as well as the intake valve seal. And the newer block with the fins on the end and by the valves there. As you can see, like I say, this is a very clean motor. It wasn't a lawnmower engine, it was something else, just by how clean it is, you know. there's no like grass all over the place, and like say the oil that's in it's still yellow. Anyway, as far as the camshaft goes, it's got this you know, spoked plastic one, but it does have the exhaust valve compression release, centrifugal operated, so that when the engine, after the engine starts, it flings it and it doesn't affect it after that. That would be for emissions also. Now this one being a model 10, it's got the mod 9.6 con rod, and so it's probably like 9.6 cubic inch instead of the standard 9.2, but same piston, got the emissions piston there. I don't know if it's Teflon coated or what it is. It's got some kind of a coating on it there, and they're very narrow rings. Again, that's all for emissions. But I noticed this one was rated at 4 horsepower. I saw a similar one that 4.5 horse, so they did manage to get these you know, 9.6 cubic inch motors significantly higher than they did the old ones. The old ones, I think they've got a 3.75 horse or something. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, so all in all, I imagine they're a good solid motor. You know, if the cylinder was machined properly from the factory. See what this lighting shows. That area right there, you can feel those ridges. So there's no way the piston ring can seal on a wavy surface. But anyway, I just point out some minor little things, like your crankcase cover bolts. They have a like a taper leading to them, so that would be for faster installation at the factory. Just points the bolt right to the hole and goes in. The old, very old engines, you know, like I'm talking from the 80s even, they don't have that. There's just all kinds of these little, and then on this motor, all of your bolts for the magneto and the cover, valve cover, they're all 1/4 inch head, whereas in the old days these were 5/16, and sometimes one of the two out of the ones on the magneto were 5/16, but they seem to have you know, changed things. And again, the crankcase cover bolts, they use a 3/8 socket. The old ones use 7/16. Just lots of minor changes. They streamlined some things over the years, so I'm not saying everything on these new motors is bad. You know, it's just the minor changes to make them cheaper and cheaper to build. One other thing they did on the very late ones that this one won't reflect, but to save aluminum, some of them even go in here on the where the camshaft center line is, just to save a little bit of aluminum. The dish saves that much aluminum. But anyway, I'll shut her down there. So that's the 2006.